Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Peter Murphy begins now.
Good evening everyone. The North West Regional Hospital has been hit with an outbreak of coronavirus. 5 cases now linked to the facility. Health authorities have teamed up with police to trace the unfolding situation that's forced dozens of health workers into isolation.
The epicentre of a coronavirus outbreak, a cluster of 5 cases now linked to Burnie's North West Regional Hospital.
4 of those cases are healthcare workers at the hospital. 1 of those cases is a patient.
Another worker and a patient diagnosed overnight, bringing the state's total cases to 86. As tracing continues, it's been revealed the patient was moved between the North West Regional Hospital and the Mersey Community Hospital on Thursday. Since then, transfers between the 2 facilities have been put on hold.
At the time of transfer, the patient had not developed any symptoms, and that was at a stage at which we had not yet identified any healthcare workers with coronavirus at the North West Regional Hospital.
Health authorities and police now forming an outbreak team to manage the situation in the North West.
Today, as a matter of urgency, we will be identifying and contacting any patients who have been discharged from the 2 facilities over the past weeks to determine whether they have become unwell or developed symptoms.
It's a wake-up call. This is serious, this is deadly. It has already taken lives, and as I've said before, unfortunately it will take more.
This morning, 27 hospital staff are in isolation as a precaution as their work on the front line intensifies.
They're adapting and they're improvising to a new situation, and their training is being improved, and they're doing their best to protect each other and protect their patients and their community.
Control measures are put in place as soon as we can identify something that should be done to prevent further infection. And in this instance, the principal way of doing that is to furlough or quarantine people who may have been exposed to a risk of infection.
As work to contain the outbreak continues, the Premier once again urged Tasmanians not to travel around the state.
Unless you need to travel outside of the North West region for work or for one of these other purposes, don't. And if you're in the south or the north of the state, if you don't need to travel outside of your region, don't.
Saying he's willing to lock down the state region by region if people don't follow the rules. Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
The Premier also says he's prepared to shut down retailers if their social distancing protocols aren't up to scratch. And many local businesses have heeded the warning, going to great lengths to keep their staff and customers safe.
At Norwood IGA, sanitation is top of the shopping list. Gloves and wipes at the entrance, every basket is wiped down between transactions. Staff are always at war with potential germs.
The biggest concern for us is the safety of our customers and our staff. That's what keeps me up at night, making sure we do all the right things.
Queuing stations are now popping up at larger stores across the state to control customer flow, while only 4 shoppers get a green light at this greengrocer at any one time.
So I think everyone understands how important it is, so we're all doing our little bit.
But those who don't could end up with no customers at all.
If we don't get this right, if the rules aren't followed, then I will have no other option than to shut you down.
Peter Gutwin says security should be hired if need be to enforce distancing in store. And police are watching. They were seen today patrolling a busy shopping centre in Newstead. The Premier is willing to lend praise, singling out Bunnings for its response. The number of customers at North Launceston has been limited to 450. The store says it enforced the cut-off during a peak on Saturday.
Extra cleaning in store, extra cleaning of trolleys and baskets, even products when they're being returned, to make sure we can be as safe as we possibly can be.
If any extra restrictions do come into force, there are calls for small businesses to be spared a shutdown.
I think in some of the discussions there has been an element where it's highly acceptable that big businesses are open and providing a service to customers. It shouldn't be forgotten that small businesses are providing an equally valuable service, if not more so, and especially in Tasmania's regional areas.
As for the public, we're being asked to practice patience when staff are under the pump.
And what I would hope is that people understand that our frontline people are putting themselves at risk to be here serving you, so please be patient and understanding.
Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmanian community groups have also been hit hard and are struggling to stay afloat because of COVID-19 restrictions. Now, they're being offered a lifeline from the RACT. The organisation is making $100,000 worth of grants available to groups under considerable financial strain.
aimed at supporting these clubs through this difficult time, managing liquidity, managing cash flow, or putting these funds towards projects that will make them resilient on the other side of the crisis.
Members and suppliers are urged to contact the organisation if they're experiencing hardship. A man has been charged with armed robbery, assault and offences against police after the theft of an SUV from a car yard. It's alleged the 24-year-old Ravenswood man stole a red Mitsubishi Outlander from the Invermay business last Friday. Another 24-year-old man from Lagana has also been charged with stealing a car and evading police following an earlier incident. Police are still looking for the missing car. Researchers have captured 144 hours of incredible footage, all from the point of view of the Tasmanian devil. Dozens of cameras were attached to the animals in the northwest.
Welcome to the busy life of a Tassie devil, working up a thirst, searching for snacks, or getting in a scrape over scraps. For the first time, researchers have conducted a study using cameras mounted on collars. Just attaching the devices proved tough, and the devils didn't exactly look after them.
We had quite some challenges, mostly because the devils were just so rough on the collars. So we deployed about 45 collars, but we only got footage from 30 of the collars.
It was more than enough. The footage reveals rare encounters of the largely solitary species.
Every time I got a collar back, I felt like an excited kid on Christmas morning.
Other findings? Devils are always in a hurry, constantly running and rarely walking. Most scavenging occurs in the wilderness, far away from humans, and they're less social at dens and feeding spots.
We found that most interactions occur when the devil is travelling, because other field methods haven't been able to record the devil when it's just travelling.
The project has been underway at the Arthur River since 2013. Watching the population free of facial tumours is also providing insights into ways to fight the disease.
And because DFTD is spread from devil to devil through biting, it's important to get a better understanding of the location and the frequency of these biting events.
Sean McComish, 7 Tasmanian News.
Even though pubs are shut, Tasmanians are being asked to buy a pint. The campaign will see hotel regulars pay for a beer in advance to help support hotels to get back on their feet when the bans are lifted.
Closed doors, a daunting new reality for the owner of the Customs House Hotel.
Well, I think it's an Australian thing where it's a way of life to go to the pub. It's some mental relief, I think, to come here. So, yeah, very important that we keep going.
Now pubs are the subject of a new campaign. The Australian Hospitality Association teaming up with Carlton and United Breweries to help punters support their local online.
They pick out their regular hotel. Those hotels have to register, and from that they sign up for a voucher for $10.
The consumer gets the free pint when the pub reopens, and CUB shouts the consumer 1 for 1 in terms of the pints that they've pre-purchased for their pub.
The initiative hoped to help keep businesses afloat while their doors stay closed.
We're down, we're not quite out. We're looking to bounce back.
So hopefully it helps with the pub's cash flow and pays a few of their bills in times of need.
As industries batten down the hatches, there's concerns about those workers who aren't eligible for government help.
We've crunched the numbers and we can see that there's upwards of 35,000 workers in Tasmania who won't be eligible under the scheme as it currently stands.
Jason Jones is one of them. He had been a cook at a pub for 12 months before restrictions were handed down. Without another job to go to, he's struggling to put food on the table.
I've been cooking for 12 years, it's sort of what I do. Nobody's hiring for cooks at the moment, so...
Unions calling on the government to add more scope to the packages and to include casuals of less than 12 months, visa workers, freelancers and local government staffers.
It doesn't really make any sense that they did that, and that's why we're saying your scheme's got to capture everyone if you really want it to be effective.
Louise Hobart, 7 Tasmania News.
They're still in training, but Tasmania's police recruits are gearing up to assist frontline officers in the fight against the virus. Recruitment for the police force is continuing as normal, with 2 intakes starting later this year. The current class has had its operational skills program brought forward, undergoing specific training so recruits can step up to help if needed.
They wouldn't be come out as fully fledged constables if needed in that initial phase, but they could be there to assist and they'll have a level of training where they can access our systems and provide support to those that will need it.
Tasmania Police also announced restrictions for public access to its stations. Hobart, Launceston, Burnie and Devonport will operate with reduced public opening hours, while entries will be closed at other stations. Community members should now complete reports by phone or online if possible. Bail reporting will continue with some modifications.
Good evening. It was a chilly start today as temperatures fell below zero at Mount Wellington and Liaweenie, while the state's top temperature was 18 degrees at Friendly Beaches and Devonport. Hobart, Burnie and Launceston all reached 17. Smithton and Lowhead a high of 17, also King Island and Flinders Island 16, 15 today at Maria Island, Grove and Ouse, and just 9 in Liaweenie. Low-level cloud moving in from the west with mostly cloud-free conditions elsewhere. Clear skies over central Australia with cloud dominating central WA as a result of an upper trough. Tomorrow shows the high remaining over the Central Bight and a ridge over most of the continent. A trough sits over inland eastern Australia. West to southwesterly winds at 10 to 20 knots, lighter winds over the north and inland lakes, swells up to 3 metres in western and southern waters. Now to tomorrow's forecast: Hobart 18, a shower or two there, Adventure Bay 16, Tarraleah 13. In the north, Launceston 19 and partly cloudy, 18 in Devonport and Bridport. Burnie a top of 17, showers in 16 in Strahan, 16 in Marrawar also. St Helens partly cloudy, 17, 18 in Swansea and Whitemark. Looking ahead, Wednesday fine apart from morning showers in the far south. Thursday areas of morning fog, then fine with light winds. And Friday showers in the west and north, extending statewide during the day and increasing to rain in the evening. Now to the capital cities: 27 in Brisbane, Sydney and Canberra partly cloudy, 35 in Darwin, Adelaide 21 and 16 and cloudy in Melbourne. And it's currently 12 degrees in Hobart, Launceston 13 and partly cloudy, and Devonport 12 degrees. And that's all in weather tonight, Murph.
Thanks very much, Letitia. 1 week sport, the next week weather, very versatile. That's all our news for now. I'll be back later with updates, and we'll have the latest with Michael Usher from 8:30 this evening. Thanks for joining us. Good night.